Hey, everybody. Welcome to Everbetter, episode 2. My name's Eric, and I have this idea for how these episodes could go. There's a couple different experiments I want to run. The first one of them is answering questions from some of the subreddits that I think a lot of you that are out there that might be interested in this podcast or in our business model that we're trying to evaluate. I think a lot of you would be in these places. So the first two places I'm going to look for that are findapath and deciding to be better. Every day these subreddits have tons of people coming to and also helping, contributing to those communities to answer people's questions. A lot of those get buried. It's just the nature of Reddit. Things, if it doesn't have enough upvotes and enough time, it just sinks right to the bottom. So there's some of that to like, that's one of the struggles that I think those subreddits have is there's enough people that go there that can't get help or they're just buried and lost right away, and that's disheartening. So there's like a supply and a demand mismatch. So at the very least, I want to pick some of those out and answer them live on here. And hopefully that personalized response maybe is just what that person needs who maybe isn't satisfied with a one-sentence answer, which a lot of the responses sometimes are. So yeah, that's what I'm going to try to do and see how it goes. And again, if you keep showing up, I'll keep showing up. So I'll tag everybody's questions that I answer. And if you get tagged and you're like, wow, that was helpful advice, or it was cool that I did this, or whatever sentiment you have, if it's positive, the best possible thing you can do is to share this with somebody else. And subscribe and give us a couple episodes to see if it's something that you're interested in. I'll mention this again later, but that really is the determining factor on whether or not you keep doing something. If you start to see traction and you start to see people subscribed. So if any part of you wants this to keep going and wants me to be able to do stuff like this, then subscribe and share it with somebody, and I really appreciate the support. So I'm going to go through about 10 of these that I kind of just scanned through, opened up a new tab, and they all looked like questions as opposed to some of the things on there might be like declarations, like I decided I'm going to lose weight, or I decided I'm going to quit drinking. Not so much a question. I'm happy to cheer those people on too, but I figured I'd try to find questions and it might make for a better listen from your end. So, military wife and I can't make up my mind. I've had the worst time trying to decide what to do. My husband's in the Army and will be retiring in the Army, but I don't really know what's more promising. I've considered nursing, social work, and even learning to code. This feels like such a big decision, and I'm just not sure how to go about deciding. I'm so concerned that as a social worker, finding jobs will be difficult. Being a nurse's aide was okay-ish, but I hated the floor I'm working on, so I have a bad taste in my mouth, and I'm not even sure I want to be a nurse. Obviously, tech is a growing field, so I have no reservations, except I don't know if I would enjoy it. However, I do feel as though I need something very portable. I'm just not sure what, because transferring licensure is scary. All right. Definitely, if you've got like even a knack for coding when you went to learn that, that isn't something that you have to just quit whatever it is you're doing and give up your life and go full in on. You can create a profile on Upwork or Fiverr with the skills you have and just be totally honest out there and set a price that it would be worth doing some small jobs for you, and you'll find people. That's how I started voiceover work about 10 years ago, or however old Fiverr is. I started almost right away. And it was really cool. It was just this community of freelancers doing everything from like holding a sign up from my well, like all these weird gigs. But a lot of programmers and a lot of people were doing voice stuff. And I thought to myself, like, I'd love to try that. And yeah, I did. And I started getting regular work, and it led to regular clients. And it was just a way to like dip my toe in before, and I still don't, it's not what I do full time, but it grew into a nice side hustle. So it's a good way to check if you would be interested in coding without actually, becoming a programmer with a company at 40 hours a week. Next up, Writing a letter to my old self. This is from Chavez20. Recently, I told my girlfriend that I wanted to reinvent myself by becoming a better person / best version of myself. She told me to write a letter in order to let go of my old self. What do you guys think? I've heard this before, and it seems like it might work, right? Like just getting something out there. That's what they say about like even like whatever you've got carrying around inside you. If you just get it out there somehow, um, you're no longer beholden to it or whatever I don't know. That was a cheesy phrase to use, but you get the point. I think there's something to letting go of. I think there's something to letting go of your old self, whatever that is. And one way to do that is certainly to start that conversation with that hypothetical person. And you have the advantage of having been them, so it's almost like if you do really view that as a separate part of you, a separate, almost like a different person, but the same in that they can hear what is happening in the present. That's what regret might be. It's your past self saying, oh, "God, you missed out on this," Maybe there's something there. So, yeah, try it out. I mean, it can't hurt. It's not like your old self's going to write back and it's going to be creepy in the start of a horror movie. But you never know. So I hope that helped, Chavez20. Up next, anyone got any recommendations for coronavirus-free wholesome subreddits? My anxiety is starting to rock quite a bit with the ongoing pandemic. Please post wholesome reading subreddits. This is from It's Because I'm Ginger. I will tell you what, I will ban any coronavirus content on the everbetter subreddit on site. It will not be stood for. So there is a safe haven, at least someplace there, and we'll try to fill it with wholesome content too. All right, people of Reddit, if any of you just want to chat about something stupid, count me in? Question mark? It's an invite, but an uncertain one from puzzledlifeguard. Yeah, man, I'll chat about whatever. If you want to do one of these and answer some of these questions with me one of these times, reach out. Just at everbetter project, and let's do it. We could just do like a Zoom thing where we're both on the screen or whatever. I don't know. We could stream it or something. We'll figure it out, man. All right. Why don't I feel excited anymore? This is from snipsnapboi. A year ago, I was living in an absolute shit life. I couldn't get into my favorite university. I was broke. I didn't have any social circle. Life was absolute hell. Now I'm at my favorite university. I earn enough as a freelance writer, and I'm about to buy my dream gaming PC in a couple of weeks, as soon as the thing I just said I wouldn't say anymore dims down. Things are going to be okay, but whatever I do, I don't feel happy anymore. There's no excitement in my life, the new PC or the money I earn don't make me ecstatic as they once did. I'm just emotionally stuck in one place, and I don't know what to do about it. It sounds like you definitely need just to change something. That's kind of generic advice, but just take up a hobby or get out and interact in the real world a little bit more. I just think there's, I know with that thing that I'm not going to talk about anymore, that gets a little harder, but even if it's just make a habit of like jogging or even just going for walks or something, just get out there and start doing something different. And you'll find your brain starts to make all different connections and you start to get interested in different things. And yeah, it's going to be tough the next couple of months for reasons I will not discuss anymore, but it's, I think you can do it. All right. Jack C1126, how to stay positive in tough times. Hi all, what a crazy few weeks it's been, huh? Here in Ohio, things aren't nearly as bad as other places, but they are getting worse, and it's having a bad impact on me already. I can't seem to stay positive. I have bad anxiety, panic attacks, can't sleep. Lots and lots of worrying. I try to look in the news or Reddit for comfort, saying I'm 17M, not in the high-risk groups and such, but lately it's just made it worse. So I'm turning to the optimistic side of Reddit to ask, how are you guys staying positive and happy during the pandemic? Oh, man, I did it. I don't know if I'm going to be able to keep this promise. I'm basically stuck at home for the next few weeks, and I'm going to lose my mind if I don't get my shit together. Any and all tips would be appreciated. Thank you, and stay safe. It's tough to stay positive. What am I doing to stay positive? I'm doing this, honestly. This is a project that I've been sitting on and thinking about and delaying for months and probably years. Like, I'm just like, I should just do a podcast from my house, interacting with people, and these are all the things I want to be doing, and why not just do it? So maybe you've got something like that in your life. There's just something where you're like, God, if I just had all the free time in the world, I would be doing this. And take this as your opportunity to do that thing. Yeah, I hope that helps. Jack C. 1126. All right. Am I kidding myself? 26 years old with potential interest in self-taught web development and spirituality. All right. I'm going to read this, but I'm already going to tell you, make a spirituality app. Like you're already there. All right. I recently took on a job helping a friend of mine and build their website. I love working on my own time, the collaborative and creative aspect of working to their specifications. I loved the problem solving and puzzle-like arranging of strings of CSS and HTML, arranging text, video, and images, designing the website to be presentable and intuitive to navigate. Beyond that, I was immensely satisfied by my friends' excitement over the completed project, and of course, I was proud that they felt good enough to use it professionally. It was extremely simple. It was just using WordPress.com, so I'm nowhere near ready to launch a full operation. I'm considering 6 months of teaching myself social media marketing under Hootsuite, web development, Odin Project, and a couple other digital marketing skills so I can become a freelance web developer after developing somewhat of a portfolio. I also have a specific interest in spirituality. I can bring myself to read for hours on end, to write about it, and create various projects. As part of my portfolio, I'd like to develop a digital platform where I offer blog posts and eventually sell courses, ebooks, etc. Oh, I'd use it to learn content creation, social media strategy, and of course, web development. Ideally, it would turn into my main source of income at some point. I worry about making a switch like this at 26 years old, not because what I was doing was necessarily working for me, but because it felt at the very least safe. Am I delusional, or is this something worth pursuing? I'm going to assume you didn't mention anything about children. You absolutely, if you have no children and you're renting an apartment, you are never going to be more free and safe as you are right now to make this change. The second you start taking on other responsibilities, whatever they are, and they're all good, they're all great things in their phases of life, but the amount of free time to fail that you have goes considerably down. That's just the reality of it. So right now, assuming you don't have those things, mortgage, kids, or spouse, or anybody you have like an obligation to, you are never more positioned to succeed and try more as you are right now, because you'll have the free time to devote to it. You'll be able to give it your all with very little downside risk. So that's my advice. And it sounds like with the web development background and spirituality and an eye for design, like you could make a hell of a good spirituality app, whatever that is. If it sounds like you've got a good idea of what content you want to, oh my God, go build that. Like just go build it. And if you're worried about how to prove it, post in our subreddit at everbetter. Like we'll help you through it. Vetting ideas and vetting like business ideas is really, really easy. If you have as concise a vision as it seems like you might have for this. So post there. We'll post some resources for you, and I hope that helps. All right. And finally, creative job advice. Does anybody out there have any career advice for a very lost 25-year-old who's about to leave the Army and really wants to pursue a job that's creative? I've always really enjoyed art, and I have a background in intelligence, but I deeply feel I need to pursue a job that will give me purpose, and intelligence isn't it. I'm still in school pursuing a degree in graphic design, but the corporate world has always sounded like such a soulless place to me. I don't have a particular job in mind that I feel like I have to do, but I want to do something that helps the world in some way and challenges me to be as creative as much as possible. Is there anything actually out there like that, or am I being too idealistic? Don't worry, I have thick skin, so please help. This is from JFlow300. Don't fall into the trap of thinking that you can't marry your passion with the corporate world or a job. It really is about deriving meaning from what it is you do. So you could sell the most boring thing in the world. You could sell document scanners, for instance. And if you're selling document scanners, that's not a very sexy product. Like, you're not getting to do things like Geico ads or whatever kind of marketing you're dreaming of doing. That isn't it. But you could make your way from something like document scanners to, well, they help the world go paperless, which helps the world with deforestation and helping reverse the effects of that. So you can make your way to a bigger picture meaning out of something that doesn't seem like on the surface it has any. So really make those connections. Go through, like, whatever job it is, look at what the product is, look at what the purpose that product has is. How does that help people? Does that save people time? Does that give people more time with their families? What does that do? And if you're contributing to that ecosystem in some way, that's amazing. That's really cool. And if you can, you can go home every day knowing that you contributed to this person's well-being in this way. So yeah, that's my advice. Go into a creative field, man. If you've got a background for it and that's where you think you're going to be happy, do it. And then try to find a place that you can derive some meaning from the product or the output, and you're going to be okay. All right. All right. Well, that's it. I think, yeah, I don't know. If this works, I'll let you know if it works in the weekly update show. I will keep doing it because it's kind of fun, and I'd love to have people do it with me or guests do it with me. I think it would be a really cool way to help more people out and give some people some good advice. So until next time, have a good evening.